Welcome everyone, Costin here on Serious Gaming with my walkthrough of Banner Saga on the hard difficulty. The story in the Banner Saga changes based on the choices you make. You'll occasionally switch between lead characters, witnessing the story unfold from different perspectives. The gods are dead. Well, that's quite an intro, isn't it? The gods are dead, right? We've survived the apocalypse. In their wake, man and giant survived through a tenuous alliance, driving black destroyers called Dredge deep into the northern wastes. Now is an era of growth and trade. Life goes on. Only one thing has stopped: the sun. So, did Ragnarok happen in this game world? Perhaps. Ragnarok is the end of time, as it were, in Viking lore, where the gods will die. In fact. Alright, this is a 2D game.
It has been several long months on the road. The first signs of snowfall accost us on our approach to Strand, largest of the trade cities on the Varl human borders, and our last collection before returning to the capital. Several days ago, the sun simply came to a stop in the sky. Though during these long winter days, none of us can be certain how long it has been this way. Some of the men in the caravan have taken it as a dire omen. I am not quick to superstition, but I myself will be glad to be done with this year's rounds. We have been warned by stranded travelers about brigands on the path through Ridgehorn, our road home. Our captain seems unconcerned. Perhaps he is as eager as I to be done here. We will rest here this day and inquire further when we speak to the governor.
Komið skjótt! Komið í höllina miklu! Gist ég leyfa oss að syngja?
So, welcome to the Banner Saga. You have Vikings, or people that are dressed like Vikings in authentic Viking clothing, using authentic Viking weaponry, and then you also have giants with horns coming out of their heads. Okay, this is the tutorial. I will skip over these because I've already finished the game. One thing I do want to check out is the difficulty. It is on normal because I just started the game. I switched it to hard. And you want to collect this, it will show you the HP of your troops as well as enemy troops all the time. You don't have to scroll over a unit. Anyway, you have one movement point for each unit. You can move the unit in the blue circle. If you move them in the yellow circle, you consume what's the bloody willpower. You'll consume willpower on that. You have you can see here 5 willpower points on this unit. You can use willpower to move further with units, but also to increase their attack power. Now also with units in this game, your HP is your attack power. The lower it goes down, the less damage your units will do. Now units are protected via armor, which reduces the damage the HP damage they take. HP is actually called strength. Anyway, so you can see there he did 1 damage. Also, certain units have a retaliate ability whereby they'll do some damage back to the units that hit them. That shield bearer has such an ability. Now this guy is gonna do it leave. kill these 2 units. And then... Okay. Let's one-shot him. You can empower attacks using willpower. Also, you can increase the amount you can empower with, by increasing a certain stat. You also gain renown by killing enemies and winning battles. Renown is a currency which you use to buy items, buy supplies, and also level up your character. So it's like your coin and your XP in a sense. Though there is an XP.
Like a rabid wolf, that one. How did it come to this? We fool ourselves believing that peace will last. My grandfather built all this from a poor fishing village, you know. He watched the gods die, watched the chaos that followed, watched man and Varl slaughter each other, even before the dreads arose. All we've done is traded one struggle for another. Now that there are no more dreads to war against, we war against ourselves. This chieftain meant to kill me, and he's not the first. A dozen families in the city would gladly take my chair. This one had men waylaying merchants, both north and south of the city, strangling trade, quite well, I would add, though he denied it to his last. This sort of wolf doesn't stop biting because the head is cut off. It just grows a new head. I am in a bad way, my friend. Help me finish this fight and I'll gladly send you on your way with double our king's tithe. Take any men you need. They're loyal, I promise you that. They will meet you down in the proving grounds.
Alright. So, a bunch of brigands. Only the sun has stopped. Nothing else, apparently. Nothing else. That's what I take from it. Anyway, you're approached by a familiar man who walks in step with you as you're leaving the Great Hall. He cuts to the chase. Elric, steward of Strand. I manage the governor's business. Ubin, isn't it? I'm just here for the tithe. I'm sure you'll get it, if not more. The governor tells me you'll be giving us a hand. I didn't exactly agree. It's up to you, but you've already got 1 foot in the door. Those men you left face down were scalpings. We just want to make sure they don't come back. We took down the chieftains. What's left of them? Not much. Never was much in the first place. They were a loose bunch of thugs to begin with. I'm surprised they got as close as they did. Then we're done here. Almost. Come with me. We're going to the market down by the water. If there's anyone left to worry about, I know who can tell us. Alright. I'm gonna read all the dialogue. By the way, that cinematic is one of the very few cinematics in the game. There's not that many of them. Okay, market. Let me handle this. You meander through rows of open-faced houses and eroded stalls. Colored canvases flap on a briny current. One man in particular, Blanches, sorry I can pronounce Blanches as you approach. I'm not in the mood today. For what? Talking to an idiot. The Skullfang's chieftain bled out about an hour ago had. So when you tell me what rat anus the rest of them crawled back into, nobody's gonna try to kill you this time. They don't talk to me. Elric, need some help here? I had a change of heart. I hope you do give us a hard time. Had sweats visibly, fumbling with some dirty trinkets on his table. Wait, just buy one of these. If everybody thinks I'm getting worked over every week, how am I supposed to know much? Just a little food money, yeah? Alright, pay him. You toss a silver on the table. Both men look at you with surprise. Had gestures meekly to a variety of junk from his stall. Take whatever you want. Only thing I like is the name of a place. Nobleman up by East Wall. But that was months ago, last I know. Head skulks away with a wave of Elric's hand, gathering things from his hovel, disappearing for a while until this blows over, you figure. Your bodyguard steps forward. Are we done here? Gunnulf, were you wearing green back at the Great Hall? No, just bought them while you were walking around. Why? You look like a frog. Better than an eggplant. Alright. Elric, that man of yours seems unreliable at best. Blind dog wouldn't trust Head, but he used to be a Skullfing. If they're licking their wounds, they've probably gone to old haunts, not new ones. Nobleman is a meat hole? Best I can tell, the name's ironic. Listen, I know a guy who would love to put a few of these skulls in the ground. I'm going to find him. I'll meet you there. Shouldn't we have an approach of some sort? What the luxury? Come on, you've already mopped up worse today. Just make sure the governor remembers his promise, double the usual tithe. I'll remind him. Alright. Very well. And we're gonna go to the meat house. You're walking through the... You arrive in front of what must be nobleman. A few minutes later, Elric appears with a weather-beaten man introduced as Valgard. I'll point them out, Elric says over his shoulder. Ready? You're walking through the front door. They ran to a meat house, says Valgard. I'll be surprised if they can stand up straight right now. Here we go. Valgard boots the front door open so hard it won't close again without repair. As you enter the hall, Elric is already at the head of a table, his axe drawn. Wide-eyed, drunken Skullfings scramble to find their own weapons, turning tables and meat steins in the process. So we have a battle with a bunch of characters here. Now, the way you level up your characters in this game is by them getting the last hit on enemies. Now, these two here I will not keep, so there's no point in leveling them. Elric and Gunnulf I will keep, so I want to level them up. I want to get as many last hits on as many enemies as possible. As you can see, I'm pretty heavily outnumbered, but I'm not too worried. These guys aren't really that powerful. Look, like you can see 7 health and all that. It's not the worst battle you'll fight in this game. There are far worse later down the line. If you approach things from an intelligent manner, many battles shouldn't be that difficult. What abilities? Okay, so I have Stonewall. Now what I'm gonna do is move him here. And yes, he's gonna take a lot of hits, but Stonewall is gonna block 3 damage. And since his armor is very high, he's gonna resist all those lovely hits. Now, who's gonna move next? Okay, that guy's gonna move next. Now what I'm gonna do here is hit his armor. And move the shield banger right here in the turn. Yeah, now you can see that Gunnulf actually can't move forward. Can't use willpower abilities because his exertion is non-existent. He has 0. He's a powerful fighter, but he does suffer because... Okay, that hit was resisted. Now I'm not... wait, maybe... Yeah, that would be a wise idea. Right, let's kill this guy. Sit right there. Now he's gonna get hit. And he just lost 1 armor. It's not too bad. Okay, Gunnulf is gonna be able to do some serious damage. He has a lot of strength, but he doesn't have armor piercing, nor does he have exertion, a great deal of exertion. I'm gonna move him right here and use Stonewall. He should be able to survive the attacks. There we go. Now I want to get hits with Elric and Gunnulf. Final hits, that is. Also at one point, later on actually in the game, you'll gain a horn which will allow you to increase, to restore the willpower of troops that have lost it Let's just get this final hit. And you can see he's been promoted. But I still need to... Okay. Right, I'm gonna hit this guy. Don't be worried about Valgard, you won't keep him. Alright. Hit him right like that. That's an armor hit. Alright. Moving him here, doing a Tempest. He kills 2 with 1 swing. And I get him down. One hit like that. Elric's turn will be next. Except I can't get him in position. Could try killing this guy, but I don't think I have the power to do so. Alright, well, let's just do some damage. Alright, that's good enough for me. Alright, gun off. Oh, okay, I can't actually do anything with him. Just wait. No, I actually don't want to do that. Thank you very much. There we go. Some damage done. One lost. Who's next? And he's been promoted as well. But I still need to spend renown to be able to level up these characters. Who is next? Alright, let me... No, actually gonna hit him to reduce his strength by a bit. And move gun off right here and kill this guy. Good job. I'll go over the stats in more detail once. Alright, moving Valgard right here. Doing some strength damage. Okay. When human units, or at least these type of units, are close together, they increase each other's shield. Like, you might think the giant Varl are very powerful and that humans don't stand a chance against them, but that's not exactly the case if you know how to use the human units properly. You can do quite a lot of damage. In fact, I'd say the Varl are very good as tanking units, but when it comes to dishing out damage, it's the humans which are far more capable. Humans also have archers, the Varl units. There's no Varl archer unit. Okay, your renown grows. There they are, gods be damned, I've got to wash off this blood. Elric is looking out the hall's windows onto the bay. A fleet of longships approach with sails of bold reds and blues. One banner I know well, Vagnir. Next for Varl kingship last week spoke. The other flag looks important. Yeah, important guests. See what I deal with all day long? Ah, things make a little more sense. You hoped I'd have a stake in saying everything's fine here when the royal guests arrived. Not me, the governor. Now I have to make sure there's no rotting bodies or pools of entrails still in the Great Hall before they come by. Can I ask one more favor? What is it? If you happen to stall our guests down on the docks, I wouldn't object. Maybe I will. Elric and Valgard hustle from the meat house. To his credit, Elric tosses the barkeep a spar of silver for the mess. You give an apologetic shrug and go to greet the new arrivals down at the docks. Alright. So that's one battle won. Okay. Let's see. The docks. What do we have? Vagnir. A familiar Varl steps onto the docks. In your mind, you recall a much younger version tramping the halls of Grofheim, abundant in purpose. God, Zubin, you're looking ancient. Comes with being old, and if there is Vagnir, there must be Hakon. Must there? Still bleeding tributes from the poor and stupid old yaks. At what age do you lose a sense of shame? Jorund demands it. I'll take that over lingering to death in Grofheim. Speaking of, I had no sense that you were so far from home. Just returned from Arberang, in fact, and glad for it. Hakon motions to the other ships in the bay, sails still fluttering. Golden wolf head emblazoned on red. The king of men, or someone on his behalf. The king's whelp. The king's son, Ludin. Don't you know, Scrivener? We visit his capital, he visits ours. It's how you make alliances these days. It's a miserable waste of time. Yes, Hakon has it. I'd almost forgotten. It's a good thing you're around, Hakon. Hakon, or whatever. Then you're going to Grofheim? I have a distinct feeling I finished my business in Strand and was heading there myself. We should caravan. We should. Give it a day. In better circumstances, I'd drink a week away, but... let's just be done. Find me tomorrow at the gates. What he's trying to say is the prince is a delight to behold. Where is Mork? Hakon, have him find a place to put up the warriors. I'm heading up to meet the governor. A host of giants depart in his wake. You recognize a few, others are strangers to you. Guess I'm off to find Mork. See you in the morning, Scrivener. I'll be along. The young prince of men ambles from his ship. He brushes off his tunic, scanning the beach with low eyelids. Ludin looks for all the world the sort of boy who grew up pulling the legs from Spider. The long road back to Grofheim should be more interesting than most years, you think. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Ludin, the Joffrey Baratheon of this game. And I'm not shitting you. Okay, he is more competent than Joffrey Baratheon, but he's still a prick. And you'll find out soon enough. Weariness suddenly settles in, and you chuckle to yourself about what an odd day it's been. One of the governor's men at the Great Hall could find you a place to sleep, alright? On the other hand, if you're going to join Vagnir's caravan tomorrow, it might not hurt to share a drink with Hakon. Or introduce yourself to the prince they spoke so highly of. Yes, very highly indeed. Is this the right place? You find the prince at an inn. Guards blanket the building, including a sharp-eyed Varl who must be working for Ludin. A woman in red eventually waves you over and stands nearby, arms crossed. Greetings, Prince Ludin. Yes, you're Vagnir. I don't remember you. Not exactly. I've known Vagnir a long time. I'll be joining you back to Grofheim with my guards. Ludin looks up for the first time. The woman doesn't react. Why? I work for the king, carrying tithes to the capital. We crossed by chance. Oh, a tax collector. Fine company. What do you want? I have a habit of recording history. I thought we might talk about your visit. A Varl historian, Don't you already know? Your king and mine both have been practically trumpeting it throughout the cities. I've been on the road a while, I'm afraid. Ludin takes a deep sigh. Whether tired or ungracious, you are uncertain. Maybe both. A formality, mostly. Vagnir came to our capital on Arberang, and now we're to go to the Varl's capital in Grofheim to cement this grand alliance for the next stage of men and Varl. You sound unconvinced. There's no need for it, and it's damned cold up here. You get the sense he's struggling not to complain outright. You take the opportunity to excuse yourself. Yes, very much like Joffrey. Also, the red and gold banner kind of gives it away. Just saying that's actually Joffrey's banner in Game of Thrones. It's the Baratheon king of King's Landing uses stag banner with gold and red, signifying his alliance with House Lannister. And also, of course, his the fact he's a descendant of Cersei Lannister and officially of Robert Baratheon, though unofficially, well, we all know what the truth is. Hakon. Scrivener! You find Hakon in a meat house surrounded by other Varl. Strand is no stranger to Varl, but rarely sees this many. Hakon waves you over. Went straight for a flagoon? Vognir's the one who agreed to pass up a drink. I wasn't invited to the governor's hall anyway. You already missed the massacre. Every year I make the rounds collecting taxes. Every year it's the human settlements that give me trouble. No surprise. What's this time? When I got here, the Great Hall was already full of bodies. We added a few more. Ha, humans. I guess if I only lived as long as a Yoxvark, I might be desperate to make something of myself too. It's not too late to start trying, Hakon. Hakon lets slip a low chuckle. Any Varl could recount his deeds, known as he is for cutting a swath through Dredge at Vagnir's side in the Second War, and regularly since then. Damn, here I'm a glorified bodyguard. You might have a point. Just another reason to get back to Grafheim. Soon enough, I imagine. You drink until the meat house becomes overbearing, then step back into the cool air outside. Yes, the cool air outside. The Great Hall. At dawn, you're woken by a delivery of goods. At least you think it's dawn. Damn hard to tell with the sun that never moves. The governor's crest adorns the supply letters, all there, just as promised, to your mild surprise. You wonder if Elric had anything to do with that. Your guards take the treasure wagon down to the gates. Vagnir is already here. A while later, Ludin and his men appear groggy and disheveled. Monk steps forward. Vagnir's quartermaster, if you recall correctly, in charge of his unwieldy entourage of warriors. You know him only in passing. He asks if you're ready to depart. We're ready. You follow Morg and join others. Usually the smaller door sent into the gates would be enough to enter or leave the city, but the town guards have been told to push them open entirely. They mutter things under their breath that are best not heard. Perhaps the governor expected you to draw a crowd, but there's nothing of the sort. Just frustrated, tired people. It summarizes Strand well as a whole, you think? Yes. We're leaving. And here we have the caravan. There are some things of importance. Supplies, days of supplies. You have a lot of supplies with this particular caravan, so you don't have to worry about this. You also have great morale. Now, morale determines willpower. If you have poor morale, your units will get less willpower. It can be either -1 or -2, all your units. If you have great morale, you get +1 or +2. Well, actually, good morale gives you +1. Great morale gives you +2. Drink a little. The caravan stops for the day. A gift, 6 marks. Cracking open meat casks, 4 marks. Wait, gracious friend, the governor of Strand. Hours pass. Raucous laughter as the meat is passed throughout the camp. You go easy. You've nothing against a good drink, but if anyone's going to keep an eye on things, it may as well be you. The revelers eventually fall asleep without incident. Okay. Right. You rise grudgingly at the campsite, the casualty of merriment. Marg is already kicking warriors awake when you spot Ludin stalking your direction. He sidesteps sleeping bodies. Better wake up, you nudge Vagnir. You're needed. Alright. It's Ludin. Always a pleasure. You look well rested. Vagnir releases a caged yawn and receives a hard-eye stare in return. How long to Grafheim? Aha! We're only 2 days out of Strand, you know. Come, I'll show you on a map. And this... Well, once I get past the loading... This is the map. Come on, already. It's a long fucking loading screen. World map. And this is where I need to go. This is where I am. This is the world. And everything, and I do mean everything, has descriptions. Like you can see the Langloom forest, the most sprawling forest known to man or Varl. Yeah. It's often remembered for having occasional rows of perfectly lined trees that look out of place in the middle of the wilderness, as if they have been carefully planted or even placed. Many suppose the loom mother planted the trees herself, and the rest instantly sprang around them. But the land loom is a dangerous place that rarely harkens back to the image of the loom mother. Wolf's Maw. Yes. Their tendency to congregate in the southern half that earned the fort its name and reputation. Okay, now there are roads, and I am going to go, I think, this way. Two spears, an unusual gap in the Varl mountains that look like two great spears at the gate. For decades, it became a bloody corridor between the Varl forces and Dredge to the north until the second Varl king, Arnfinn, endeavored to build a sprawling fortress here which would eventually become Grafheim, the Varl capital. And this is Grafheim, the last home of the Varl and their seat of power, founded by Arnfinn, the second Varl king. Though the Varl have moved around a lot, most consider Grafheim their capital. The deeds of Varl are honored here, and all warriors of Worf are buried at the foot of the two spears, where they are said to become part of the Varl Smash itself. Okay, Sheld, one of the forts built by the Varl in the relentless push to hold back the Dredge. While that role would eventually be replaced, the Stonehorn to the north, Sheld stood for a long time as one of the few strongholds keeping the Dredge at bay. The Varl's March, I guess. Cradle of Grafheim is named such for the belief that each Varl of Worf buried in the King's Barrow becomes the bones of the mountains, eventually forming a new peak along the range. The size of each peak, it said, would vary depending on the Worf of the Varl. I don't really know about that. The Hanged Man, a curious formation of peak straddled on two sides by natural passes. The singular snow-capped summit between them stands lonely and alone. Alright, that's enough. We head north, then east, past the forts. Grafheim is far from Strand, going to be a long march. You should have drank last night, Luden. Why not take ships to Skrymerstead? What's the point of marching? The Silverstone Bay is called that for a reason. It stays covered in ice all year. It would tear up the longships. Too bad though, we could have shown you all the wonders of Skrymerstead. A half-drunken city sprawling with dredge prints, dredge and glaciers. You like glaciers? Loading exhales through the nose, a poor disguise for his contempt. He turns and bats aside the tent flaps as he goes, barking at his company in the distance. Don't poke the anthill, Vagnir. He seems no happier to be here than you. Spend a few more days with that boy old friend and you'll be looking for a tall cliff to hop off too. Lodin's got the shorter wick than Hakon. Thanks, Vagnir. Let's get moving. Another half day to Vedrfell if we're lucky. Sodding names. Okay. Right. You can train, by the way. It's annoying that this game has a checkpoint system. Yeah, fucking wonderful. Anyway, let's promote some people here. And again, because why the fuck not? Now, for Gunnulf, I'm actually gonna increase his exertion, because he already has a huge amount of strength. Yes. And his armor. And his strength by a bit. Alright, so I have these four. Right, so Gunnulf, Morg, and Hakon. Actually, Morgar, whatever. I'm gonna put him first. Let's leave.
Vedrfell. Even the name means bad weather, where frozen wind sweeps in from the bay. They tend livestock, but most are just men driven from Strand with nowhere else to go. Why else would anyone stay? We won't stop long.
Well, I'm going to pause the video right here. Costin signing out. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Also, don't forget to check out my walkthroughs on Daily Motion as well. And if anyone is interested in helping me out, help me on the channel, there's a donation link in the description of this video. So, yeah. Gonna continue from here.